2026 schedule for the New Orleans Saints dropped Thursday night, and the league handed Tyler Shough the meanest two-game opener in football. Week 1 on the road in Detroit, Week 2 on the road in Baltimore. 2 playoff-caliber buildings before your second-year quarterback has a chance to breathe. Most fans see those first 2 weeks in panic. Hold off on the panic, because the same brutal welcome wraps inside the second softest strength of schedule in the entire National Football League. Saints opponents finished 2025 with a combined 434 winning percentage. Only one team in football got a friendlier draw. Read it twice. The Saints have the easiest path of any NFC contender and the toughest first 14 days anyone signed up for. Something has to give. Whatever Shough looks like after that opening gauntlet tells you exactly which version of him this city is getting all year long. Now stack what is around him. Jordan Tyson at pick 8, overall. 4 years, $32.5 million, fully guaranteed. The highest selected Saints wideout since 1978. Kristen Miller at pick 42, 321 pounds of interior pressure straight out of Georgia. Oscar Delp at pick 73. Travis Etienne Jr. signed for $52 million across 4 seasons, coming home to Louisiana. Chris Olave locked in as the alpha. Kellen Moore running back the most explosive young offense in the South. And then there is a move the Saints made nobody is shouting about loud enough. A trade that brought in a former top 10 edge rusher every other team gave up on. It might be the single most important transaction of this entire offseason. We get there before this video ends. Flip the field over. Brandon Staley enters year 2 of his 3-4 defense with a rookie class built specifically for it. The schedule sets up perfectly. A bye after Paris. 4 NFC South games inside the final 5 weeks. The Atlanta Falcons coming to the Caesars Superdome on Monday Night Football. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers closing the regular season at home with playoff seeding on the line. By week 18, the entire division gets decided inside the dome, and there is one team in the NFC South already sweating before training camp opens. By the end of this breakdown, you will know exactly which one and exactly why. But before we get into that, hit that like and subscribe button for more Saints and all the NFL content. Let's aim for 500 likes on this video. Detroit on the road in week 1. Dan Campbell still on the sideline. Jared Goff still pulling the trigger. Aiden Hutchinson healthy again. Amon-Ra St. Brown. Running routes against your secondary. The matchup looks scary on paper. Here's the part the headlines are skipping. The Lions are coming off a down 20-25 season. The roster that bullied the NFC North 2 years ago took its lumps. They are no longer the wagon. They are a wounded former wagon trying to find its bearings. The Saints walk into Ford Field with a healthy rookie quarterback who already started 9 games and won 5 of them. Different building, same idea. You take the swing. Then week 2 punches harder. Baltimore, M&T Bank Stadium. Lamar Jackson waiting. The 2-time MVP plays his home opener after a long offseason of being under-discussed in the MVP race. The Ravens are going to be a top 3 AFC team. Period. The Saints are walking into the most hostile road environment in football against the single hardest quarterback to game plan against. This game is the one fans should bookmark in their head as the litmus test. Not for the win, for the response. How does the defense hold up? How does Tyler Shough answer back when the pocket collapses? How does Brandon Staley scheme against a designed rushing quarterback in his second season? 2 of the hardest opponents in football, 2 road games. Inside the first 14 days of the season, the schedule could have spread these out. The schedule chose to stack them. Survival here changes the whole narrative. A 1-1 start would be a victory. An 0-2 start with the offense. Playing clean football still leaves the door wide open, because what comes next is the second easiest stretch of the schedule. The Raiders at home. The Falcons at home on Monday Night Football. 3 home games in a row after the bruises. The pain comes early, so the runway opens up. By the time the rest of the league hits mid-season fatigue, the Saints are getting healthier, not worse. The opening 14 days are a price tag, not a sentence. Brandon Staley spent year one teaching this roster a 3-4 defense it had never run before. 2025 was the install year. 2026 is the execution year, and his rookie class arrived with players engineered to fit the system, not square pegs hammered into round holes. Start with Chrisen Miller at pick 42. The Georgia interior defender posted an 11.3% pass rush win rate against college tackles. That number was top of his draft class for interior linemen. Most coverage of this pick framed him as a run stopper. He is more than that. Staley now has a 321-pound rookie who collapses the pocket inside, not just plugs the run lane. Davin Godchaux anchors the nose tackle role after coming over from New England last year. Behind him, the secondary additions match the scheme perfectly. TJ Hall, out of Iowa in the 7th round, sits in the 85th percentile in forced incompletion rate. Iowa is a zone-heavy program. Staley runs zone-heavy concepts. Translation: you took a player whose college habits already match what you're asking him to do on Sundays. Lorenzo Styles Jr. from Ohio State at pick 172 has the toolkit to compete for snaps at the star nickel position, which is the move spot in Staley's defense. Jonas Sanker, in year 2, adds another piece to the safety rotation. The most underrated detail of this defense, though, is what happens at the edge. The Saints already have Cam Jordan and Carl Granderson rotating off the edge. The defensive line as a unit got younger, longer, and more athletic in this draft. The depth chart is no longer paper thin. The pressure rate ceiling rises anytime you give a coordinator real rotation options. Staley lost his job with the Chargers, partly because his pass rush sputtered when his starters wore down in the 4th quarter. That is not the position the Saints are in now. They have starters they like, depth they trust, and a scheme that finally has the personnel it was designed around. There is one more move the Saints made on this side of the football that nobody outside Louisiana is pricing in correctly. We will get to it. October 25th, Stade de France, 8:30 in the morning Central Time, the first NFL game ever played in France. New Orleans Saints versus Pittsburgh Steelers. Most fans see this game and think about the early kickoff, about the jet lag, about Aaron Rodgers in his Pittsburgh helmet. The real story is the man pacing the opposite sideline. Mike McCarthy is the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Mike Tomlin walked away in January 2026 after the Steelers were bounced from the wild card round. Pittsburgh hired McCarthy to keep their 19-year run of non-losing seasons intact. Here's what makes this matchup quietly the most fascinating game on the Saints' schedule. McCarthy is the head coach who ran the Dallas Cowboys from 2020 through 2023. Kellen Moore was his offensive coordinator from 2020 through 2022. Boss and apprentice. The student calling plays for the boss. Now the apprentice is the head coach of one franchise. The boss is the head coach of the other. Across an ocean, in a stadium neither one of them has ever called home. With Aaron Rodgers almost certainly walking back into Pittsburgh by mandatory minicamp. The storylines write themselves. The film study sessions write themselves. Both men know the other's tendencies as well as their own. And the schedule does something else worth flagging. The Saints get the bye in Week 8, immediately after the Paris game. That is the gift inside the gift. Travel to Europe, play a morning kickoff in a foreign country, then get a full week off to recover. Every team that has travailed internationally and not gotten the bye after has paid for it the following week. The Saints will not be in that group. They get to land back in New Orleans, recover their bodies, watch film on the next opponent, and walk into Week 9 fresh. The Pittsburgh trip looks tough from the outside. From the inside, it is one of the cleaner travel scripts on the calendar. Tyler Shuck gets to face the boss of the man who drafted him to start the second half of his sophomore season. Mason Rudolph likely opens for Pittsburgh while Rodgers ramps up. The Saints flip a road game into a neutral site contest. Time to answer the question section 1 open. Which version of Tyler Shuck is this team getting? The data already answered it. 9 starts as a rookie, a record of 5-4, 221 completions on 327 attempts, 67.6 completion percentage, the third highest by a qualifying rookie in NFL history, 2,384 passing yards, 10 touchdown passes against only 6 interceptions, a 91.3 passer rating, 103.33 down passer rating, which led the entire National Football League, not rookie quarterbacks, every quarterback. Shuck also rushed for 186 yards and 3 touchdowns on 45 carries. Then look at what was built around him. Jordan Tyson at pick 8 as the X-receiver with separation gear from college. Chris Olave as the proven veteran target. Devon Vele as the chain mover with size in the slot. Bryce Lance as the day 3 steal who graded out as the top wideout in the entire draft per Pro Football Focus. Travis Etienne Jr. as the homecoming back from Jennings, Louisiana, 4 years and $52 million, fresh off a 1,107-yard rushing season in Jacksonville. Alvin Kamara still under contract. Devin Neal in year 2 of his deal. Juwan Johnson as the 77-catch tight end. Oscar Delp as the rookie 3 receiving Y option behind him. Eric McCoy and Cesar Ruiz anchoring the interior offensive line. Here's the part fans need to hold on to from 2025. Charlie Smith drilled a 47-yard game winner with 2 seconds left to beat Carolina in Week 15. Shuck threw for 272 yards and a touchdown in that win. The Saints swept the Panthers for the first time since 2023. They won 4 of their last 5 games of the year. The closing kick from that team is real. It happened. It was not an accident. It was a young quarterback growing inside a young head coach's system as the game slowed down for both of them. Now you stack a fully guaranteed first-round receiver, a homecoming Pro Bowl running back, and a year of chemistry on top of it. The opening gauntlet is the price. The runway after it is the payoff. The Carolina Panthers won the NFC South last year. They did it at 8 wins and 9 losses. 8-9, a losing record, with Bryce Young finally figuring himself out and a defense that overperformed its expected points allowed by a country mile. 8 wins won the division. That is the bar. The Atlanta Falcons swept the Saints last season for the first time since 2016. Week 18, 2025, D. Alford picked off Tyler Shuck with 3 minutes and 24 seconds left, returned it 59 yards, and set up the field goal that ended the Saints season. The image of that pick 6 is part of the engine running this offseason inside the Saints building. Michael Penix Jr. is the Falcons quarterback. The Bucs run Baker Mayfield behind a healthy receiver core. The schedule layout favors the Saints in a way Saints fans should mark. The final 5 weeks of the regular season contain 4 NFC South games. The Saints went 4 wins and 1 loss in their identical closing stretch last year. They are heading into the same situation, only this time the roster is healthier, the quarterback is more experienced, and the receivers are no longer playing musical chairs in the slot. Week 14 on the road against Carolina. Week 15 on the road in Tampa Bay. Week 17 on the road in Atlanta. Week 18 home against Tampa Bay. 4 games. 3 of them on the road, all 4 against teams the Saints have to beat to win the division. The Week 4 matchup against Atlanta lands on October 5th on Monday Night Football at the Caesars Superdome. That date falls inside the 20-year anniversary window of the Dome, reopening after Hurricane Katrina, which was September 25th, 2006. Falcons in the building. Prime time. Anniversary energy. National audience. If you are looking for a circle, the calendar moment, this is the one. The Saints get a chance to plant their flag in the division on national television, in their own building, against the team that swept them out of the playoff conversation last year. Kellen Moore wants this game more than any other on the schedule, so do his players. Time to close the loop. The move Section 1 teased. The Saints traded with the Las Vegas Raiders during Day 3 of the 2026 NFL Draft for Tyrie Wilson, the same Tyrie Wilson the Raiders took with the 7th overall pick of the 2023 NFL Draft. 6'6", 270 plus pounds. The Raiders gave up on a former top 10 edge rusher after 3 seasons. Mickey Loomis got the call from Las Vegas. Loomis flipped a late-round pick for a player drafted 96 picks earlier than the highest selection the Saints had in this draft. Read that line twice. Why Brandon Staley wants him. Wilson's frame and length never quite fit Las Vegas's 4-3 base defense. He was asked to win one-on-one as a wide 9-pass rusher against NFL tackles week after week. He never broke. He never broke through either. Staley's 3-4 scheme deploys his edges differently. 5 technique alignment, more movement, more twists and games up front, more opportunities to attack a gap instead of square up a tackle. Length plays in a 3-4. Length matters. Wilson is not a finished product. He is a project. The thing about projects is they have ceilings. Wilson's ceiling is a double-digit sack pass rusher. Las Vegas could not coach him to it. The Saints think they can. Stack him next to Cam Jordan and Carl Granderson on the edge. Add Kristen Miller inside next to Davon Godchaux. Suddenly, the Saints have a 4-man front rotation that does not need a blitz to generate pressure. Suddenly, the secondary gets help it has not had in years. The pressure rate ceiling is the ceiling of this defense. The pressure rate ceiling just went up the moment Wilson signed his veteran minimum contract in New Orleans. There is a reason no NFL talking head is treating this trade as a top 10 offseason move. There is also a reason they should be. By week 6, the league is going to be writing about the New Orleans Saints defensive line the way it wrote about the 2020 Rams under Staley. Final call on the season. The New Orleans Saints finished 10 wins and 7 losses in 2026. They win the NFC South. They go 5 wins and 1 loss inside the division. They split the road games against Detroit and Baltimore. They beat Pittsburgh and Paris. They sweep the Atlanta Falcons. Yes, you read that line. The Saints sweep Atlanta. Atlanta beat them twice last year. The schedule gives them Atlanta at home in Week 4 under Monday Night Football lights, and on the road in Week 17 with the division on the line. Both games end in black and gold celebrations. The team that should already be sweating is the Atlanta Falcons. Their quarterback room is not fixed. Their pass rush is not fixed. The Saints know the wound from last year. They are spending all offseason healing for the rematch. A losing record won the NFC South in 2025. A healthy quarterback with a fully guaranteed first-round receiver, a homecoming running back, and a year of head coach continuity does not need much to clear that bar. 10 wins clears it twice over. Make the playoffs. Win a wild card game. Anything beyond that is gravy on the recovery. The roster is built. The schedule is friendly outside the opener. The coaching staff is the youngest in the league and the most aligned the Saints have had in 15 years. The pieces line up. The only thing left to do is play the games. Drop your record prediction in the comments before training camp opens, and hit the subscribe button so you do not miss the 53-man roster prediction dropping on this channel next. The roster prediction is going to surprise a lot of people. There are at least 3 names currently on the depth chart who do not make it to week 1. We will tell you exactly who, exactly why, and exactly what the Saints do to fill those spots. Tyson and Chris Olave combining for 2,000 receiving yards is not the wild prediction. The wild prediction is who lines up across from them on the field on opening Sunday.